Week 6 of our tour kicked off in Seabrook, Washington, a charming planned community on the Washington coast. We were excited to be back for year 2 of their summer concert series and had a large crowd at the start. But as we hit the stage, the weather took a wild turn. Wind picked up, mist rolled in, and the temperature dropped so fast. We had about 30 resilient people that stuck it out to the end, dancing to the music in order to stay warm. The next day, we attended the Saturday market, checked out some crafts, ate some bratwurst for breakfast, and then we rented some mountain bikes for the afternoon. We had a whole week off before our next show and decided to stay along the misty Washington coast a bit longer.
This place is awesome.
Our next stop was just outside of Forks, Washington, and if you're a Twilight fan, you know what this means. We found a cool campground called the Quileute Oceanside Resort in La Push. Our site was so cool, it was 100 yards from the ocean, tucked away in the trees. Max rented a surfboard, and I practiced my videography skills. The sky had finally cleared up for our last night at the Oceanside Resort, and we got to take in the most amazing sunset. And when the sun went down, we enjoyed a cozy campfire and even watched some fireworks from the beach. After 2 relaxing days at the beach, we packed up and headed to Port Angeles Ranger Station in preparation for our backpacking trip in Olympic National Park. We parked our trailer at Salish Trails RV Park, then drove about an hour out to the trailhead. The first 3.5 miles of the hike felt like something out of a fairy tale. And best of all, no mosquitoes. All around us was lush, moss-covered forest. The way the sunlight gleamed through the trees was magical. The trail followed a creek with tiny waterfalls. This was probably my favorite stretch of the hike, and I wouldn't mind coming back again for a day hike through this part of the park. After we exited the whimsical forest, the views opened up to many mountains and wildflowers. This is when the mosquitoes began to greet us. After 8 miles of climbing, we reached a lake where many other hikers were camped out. We still had another mile and 1,000 feet of elevation to go to reach our campsite in the upper basin. The mosquitoes only found us when we stopped, but I had to capture these streams rolling off the mountain to meander through the meadow below. Now I'm loaded with hundreds of bites. Oh well. We made it to the upper basin just before dark. It took us a bit of time to find a place to set up camp, and eventually found a flat gravel patch after scrambling over some scree. We added on some layers and mosquito netting to combat the bugs and set up for the night. For dinner, we enjoyed some tikka masala from Bowl and Kettle before heading into our tent to escape the mosquitoes. The hot sun forced us out of the tent in the morning, so after breakfast and coffee, we slipped on our Crocs and climbed over the scree to the tarn, which we learned is the name for a small glacial lake, and we cooled off in its water. The marmots popped out in curiosity about all the splashing and hollering after we hit the ice-cold water. Just as I was about to jump in, I spotted a black bear traveling down Mount Deception. After drying off, we packed up to head back down to our vehicle, taking in the last of the alpine lupins. The total elevation gain for this hike was about 3,600 feet, and let's just say, for our first backpacking trip of the season, it definitely kicked our butts and our knees. The neighboring town of Squim had a lavender festival the next day, so we headed over and sniffed all the lavender we could find, drank some lavender lemonade, and then headed off for a bike ride on the Olympic Discovery Trail. This was such a cool ride. It followed along the ocean. We took the route toward Port Angeles, and then we took the ride down to the Coast Guard station and back. That's a wrap on our Olympic Peninsula adventure.